It's cause for celebration in the Baden-Württemberg State Parliament, the first anniversary of the ruling coalition of Greens and Social Democrats. Taking centre stage is Winfried Kretschmann, the first Green Premier of any German state. Kretschmann, for better or worse, has had to grow into his role as the leader of this traditionally conservative industrial powerhouse.
Now I've taken on this role because I sense that in these times of crisis, people want someone who reacts in level-headed and well-considered ways and doesn't indulge in the usual theatrics. That's how I see it, and I can live with that quite well.
On March 27, 2011, the Greens and Social Democrats broke the Christian Democrats' 40-year hold on power in Baden-Württemberg. The Fukushima disaster tipped the election scales, but it was no less a sensation, and Kretschmann was the Greens' man of the hour.
Of course, you have to govern right from the first day. In the opposition, it's all very much about content. But when you're governing, you have to consider the legal situation, and everything moves far more slowly than you expected.
Kretschmann's political career is an unusual one. A teacher by profession, in 1980 Kretschmann was among the first 6 Green representatives in Baden-Württemberg's parliament. Another was Elsbeth Mordow.
Winfried Kretschmann war in erster Linie Pädagoge.
I'd say Winfried Kretschmann was first a teacher, and second, he was a bit left-wing, and often quite a maverick in his views. But when he took up a cause in Parliament, when some motion or other thing was on the agenda, then he was very level-headed and responsible in his approach to it. I think he was the most political of the 6 of us.
Ich glaube, war der politischste von uns 6.
Kretschmann served for 30 years in the opposition, gradually evolving from a Green revolutionary to a Green conservative. He's a practicing Catholic from the country who sings in the church choir and is a member of a traditional rifle club, a profile that made him electable among conservatives. As state premier, he's at the levers of power now, and he's using them. The recently introduced college tuition fees were abolished again. The coalition government is breaking new ground by establishing a new type of state school, partly by replacing the old selective system. Greater daycare capacity is intended to help mothers return to the job market. Renewable energy sources are to pick up the slack as nuclear power is phased out. Wind energy companies and mid-sized enterprises are getting a boost and giving the coalition their support in return. But it hasn't always been such a breeze. State employees criticised the coalition's spending cuts, the first time Kretschmann had met any real resistance. But he stood firm.
I have to balance the budget. There's just no way around it.
The conservative opposition Christian Democrats have also been criticising his budget policies, saying more than €2 billion in new borrowing over the next few years is unacceptable.
On the question of budget consolidation, the government is not building sustainably for future generations, but digging itself deeper into debt.
The Christian Democrats claim prosperity is being destroyed. But despite the rhetoric, the CDU has not grown into its opposition role as quickly. It's still smarting from its fall from power, while Kretschmann still enjoys broad popular support.
He comes across as a leader of the people, not as the Green revolutionary bogeyman. And that surprised a lot of people in Baden-Württemberg. I'm sure it boosts his approval ratings.
But one issue has dragged Kretschmann's approval ratings down. Stuttgart 21, the controversial planned multi-billion euro rail line and underground station project. Kretschmann had originally opposed it, but as Premier he had to respect a referendum in which a majority supported the project. Referendum or not, the protesters are not backing down. At one time, they were among Kretschmann's most ardent supporters. Their votes helped put him into office. Now they feel betrayed.
I'm disappointed by Mr. Kretschmann, but then it's just the usual political procedure. You say one thing and do just the opposite. I really have problems understanding that.
Of course I'm disappointed and bewildered over Kretschmann's mutability from opponent of the project to a benevolent advocate and supporter.
Back in the state parliament, the celebrations are over now. And it's back to work for the deputies and for State Premier Winfried Kretschmann.